This is the Effing One Podcast, Australia's only Formula One podcast with Adam and Luke.
G'day and welcome to the Effing One Podcast, Australia's least favourite topical crime podcast. The worldview is this very hastily thrown together audio file could bring down the World Economic Forum, and it comes with its own vulgarity warning in Slovenia. Occasionally this podcast will cause mild amusement hiccups, uncontrollable bowel syndrome, and a warm tingle in that special area. I'm here to consume and digest last weekend's racing action and vomit it back up into your ear holes. Now let's look back at the usually dull and dreary Siesta del Boro in Spain and preview the duel in the taint of France and Italy that is Monaco. So grab the lube and tissues, put a towel down on your comfiest futon or slab of oak, loosen the belt, drop the trousers, relax, breathe deep, and blow that inflatable woman, man or sheep, and shut the hell up! It's time to go head first, pants down, into this week's Formula One action. Now, we all know the Formula One action, it's Monaco. It's my favourite race. It's everyone's jewel in the crown of Formula One. It's the bee's knees of road racing, where you have no area to make a mistake. You will crash into the barrier, and there will be applause. There's been some big crashes. There's been some horrible crashes. And this year, I'm expecting more carnage than ever. And we all know my place in the Monaco hierarchy. And if you're not quite familiar with this very, very famous or infamous intro from back in season 1 of the Effing Bond podcast, have a listen to this.
Now, to get inside the info right here, we need the man with the info. The guy that's, well, he's memorised every single inch of this track before he learned to walk or talk, raised on the streets of Monaco. He's the 15th in line to the throne. It happened way back when his grandmother, who worked at the palace as a maid, was changing the water on the Asian lilies. When suddenly... So sorry. This is a true story. When the prince snuck up, surprised her from behind.
Snuck up from behind?
Oh my God.
My grandma's a lotus flower.
Oh yeah. All right, here you go. I got this. We'll pick it up. We'll pick it up from there. We'll pick it up from there. We'll pick it up from here. I'm just going to get through this bit. If I could just get past this bit here, I'll be fine. I'll be fine in a second. Bear with me. All right, hang on. It happened when his grandmother, who worked at the palace as a maid, was changing the water on the Asian lilies when the prince surprised her from behind. And the rest, as they say, is in the past. And in his case, in the blood.
Blood?
Bonjour, Luke. Comment ça va? Je suis heureux de vous voir, my good man.
You're welcome. That was cut down from 11 minutes. No joke. 11 minutes it took for Adam to compose himself. We had a bit of a joke about brown sauce, gravy, before the podcast, which that's what caused just a silly mood, and we couldn't keep a straight face. And I miss that fella. I hope his long COVID is ending at some time this season. We get him back on the podcast, but it is, you're stuck with me, you're stuck with the solo, and we are stuck with our pioneering volunteer charity group that we have here. It's called Handjobs for the Homeless. Now, get down your local homeless shelter. Just ask, is there a way that you can help out to, give some hand job relief to a vagrant I think it's very, very important that we get down, and you can't give them money. Sometimes I look down at it, they'll buy drugs. You can give them food, but that's temporary. But that warm, fuzzy feeling that you get lasts hours after a nice little rub and tug. If you want to make eye contact, make it weird, go ahead and do it. Just do it. And I've come up with a bit of a jingle for the hand jobs for the homeless. Stick with me on this one. This is hand jobs for the homeless. Hand jobs for the homeless. It's a good place to go and get a load off. Hand jobs for the homeless. Go get down there and masturbate a hobo. Hand jobs for the homeless. For the ladies who polish up that pussy. Hand jobs for the homeless. Go make a difference today. Hand jobs for the homeless. Go make a difference today. And that is the jingle for the Hand Jobs for the Homeless charity here at the F1 podcast. Go down there and jerk off a stranger. And just you're gonna make a difference right there, and do it today. Do it right now. Stop what you're doing. Keep listening to this podcast. Actually, it'll help you get through it. Who knows? Look to me. And also, this podcast does come with a vomit-free guarantee. If you manage to throw up on yourself, if you get sick, violently ill, just from listening to my voice, I will fly to wherever you are in the world, and I will clean up your mess. That is the vomit-free guarantee. Now, we have a very special guest. So we'll see if we can get this connection right. It's been a bit of a while to actually have a one-on-one chat back and forth. So we'll see how this goes. Hey guys, it's me, Sebastian Vettel, 4-time world champion, whatever. Listen, off the record, look, no one listens to this little podcast, do they? By the way, what is this podcast called? It's the F1 podcast. I don't fucking care, you know that. So, we've copied the Red Bull, and we think that it's missing a few bits. It's actually quite slow, what we've got. We've actually come up with a V6 back in like forever ago. So, it's not like we copied it from when they showed it. It's like from ages ago, We sort of this, we're like, you know what, we can create one car, but let's create two. And, it just so happened to look exactly like the Red Bull. And, I have some contacts back there, and they've been talking to me. Oh, really? You've been talking to Red Bull? Have they just been guiding you, helping? I don't know if they were calling from a walkie-talkie, but there was a lot of miscommunication because, my God, our car's a piece of shit. I thought our car was worse before, but it's so fucking horrible. I want to go and drive a fucking Williams. That is where I'm at right now. That's not good, Sebastian. No one wants to drive a Williams. Not even the Williams driver wants to drive a Williams, except for Latifi, and he's just doing it because he's got money, and Albon's trying to get back into Red Bull. Yeah, look, listen, I don't care what you think. Looky pooky, enough F1 talk. Can we just, take a second, take a breath, listen. Things have changed between us. It used to be all spice and sugary and fantastic, but now it's a little bit dry. So, listen, if you want me back on the podcast, you have to send me a dicky pic, okay? Those are my demands. And whenever you send this picky dicky, I seem to race really well. And we need some good results for me and the environment. You have to be thinking of the environment here, Luke. Listen, we can all drive around and fly around the world, but if I don't get a dick pic, a tree falls down somewhere and no one is there to cry. And it's very hard. So, the polar ice caps are melting. Every year they do this. And there's glaciers, they are melting. And people are just getting washed away. It's not good. So if you send me a dick pic, I will plant 100 trees and you'll have me on the podcast again. Is that okay? Yeah, sure, Sebastian. If it's for the good of the environment, I don't know how that will help. I'm pretty sure the battery I use to send, you will save the planet. You will not... Listen, I have a red panda at home. And if you do not send me a dick pic, this red panda may meet its demise. So let's not do that to the red panda. Let's save the red panda and send a dick pic. Okay, bye! I have to now. You don't want a red panda to die. Red pandas are adorable. Much better than those other lazy bamboo-eating motherfuckers. Thank you, Sebastian. I didn't get much of a say in that. And he kind of left. So, yeah, Sebastian Vettel, everyone. 4-time world champion. Talking points about the Spanish Grand Prix. It was not so much the Siesta del Bora as it has been in the past. Yes, these cars have made a difference and increased overtaking. No doubt about it. Even a faulty DRS is even better. They did make it easier to stay close, to race close. Some interesting moves around the outside of corners you would rarely see happen. And I'm not just talking about turn 3. Magnussen making a turn around at turn 4. And then back near, where is it? Turn 9, 10, 11. I think it's 12. The right-hander going around the outside. Very, very interesting ways to get around people this year. And if it wasn't for temperatures, I think there would have been a lot more cars following closely. But Max and Red Bull Racing could follow close and not have that issue that some of the other cars had severe overheating, especially those Mercedes. Mercedes might need some side pods for the hotter races. It's a very, very small and minute opening. And we all love a tight opening, lads, don't we? But sometimes, you know, when things happen and it loosens up a bit, it serves a purpose. And there's a reason why a wide opening serves a purpose. Okay, it's to give birth and to cool a Formula 1 car. There's no surprises, you're warm there, Mercedes. It's because you're trying to give birth out of a butthole. And you can't do that. Sometimes you can turn a vagina and a butthole into a vaginus. But you need a bigger opening. I'll tell you that right now. I don't say that often. And actually, we should say this more often. For those big opening women, you're appreciated and you serve a purpose. But for Mercedes, you need a larger opening in the side of your car. Personally, I think these racing tactics by these gamer PC, Xbox, PlayStation generation is superior to the run-and-done people who have raced in the past. Now, the reason I say that is because when you look at the George Russells, the Max Verstappens, the Leclercs, the Norrises, they are very good at the wheel-to-wheel action. Now, they may race on one day on a fortnight, and they get to race, and they actually, the one chance they do out of 22 races this season, they get 22 days to race. But when they're at home on their simulators, they get a chance to race whenever they want. And they can race, try things, different angles, different techniques, and they're racing more often. It's not real, but the racing techniques and the new ways that these kids are keeping each other behind is far more interesting than some in the past. It's far more inventive. They're being smart. They're thinking through things. You remember Charles and Max in Saudi Arabia, battling for the DRS line, thinking not just about, I need to make this pass, I will make an overtaking move. It's like, I need to use this DRS in my advantage. Using all the tools, all the buttons, all the toys that is in Formula 1, that's in the cars. They are using them and utilising them. I do feel if you are racing a lot more in a sim, you are racing more. You are trying things out and you are overtaking in places that you wouldn't normally see it. So congratulations to them and keep it up. It makes the overtaking very interesting. Now Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo. We could call it Dan Watch. But there's not much to watch. He's not on TV much because he's not driving very quick. His teammate has tonsillitis. He still gets his ass handed to him. He had one set of new tyres going into that Grand Prix. He had 4 sets of used softs, a used hard tyre. Who uses a fucking hard tyre? I don't think anyone used a hard tyre during the Grand Prix. If they did, I didn't see it because they were probably going slow on it. I saw some mediums, or as Paul de Rest would say, mediums, and I did see some softs. Daniel had 1 new set of mediums, 4 used softs, and 1 used hard tyre. Sorry, it's not good enough. Save your tyres. Make 1 run in Q3. Make 1 run in Q2. Save some tyres for the race. The race is where it's going to happen. New tyres, fresh tyres, has pushed people throughout the Grand Prix. Alonso had a lot of fresh tyres. What did he do? Move forward. Norris had some fresh tyres. Where did he go? Move forward. Monaco, okay, use your tyres. Use your track advantage because there's not a chance to overtake. But in tracks you can overtake, which Barcelona you can, and mind you, fuck Barcelona. I'm sick of it. Do something new. Fuck off that chicane, bring in the fast last 2 corner sweepers, or go to Jerez. I'm sick of Barcelona, and I dare say all the other drivers are too, so I'm not alone. Now, free practice 1, I want to talk about that. De Vries beat Latifi, no surprises there. Nick De Vries, the Formula E champion, got a drive for practice 1 on Friday. He was quicker than Latifi. Kubica, the one-handed bandit. Our hand in the paddock, with his gammy hand doing COVID testing, he spanked bare ass with his gammy hand. Yuri Vips was only allowed to drive with the handbrake on. Now that's a bit shit. I know Red Bull, you want to go through some stuff, but let the kid have a lap to let it loose. Just give him a go. Why waste time? Sergio Perez knows which way the Circuit de Catalunya goes. Everyone in that fucking grid knows which way to go around that track. They know where the corners are, where the braking markers are, blah, blah, blah. Let's open up. There should have been more drivers in free practice 1. Every team should have had a different driver for free practice 1. Every one of those drivers has driven so many fucking laps around that place. Give the kids a run. Give the kids a run. Give them a chance. Oscar Piastri should have been in the car, not Ocon. Alonso, he's the home favourite. Fine. Give him some laps. He's old. Now we're moving on to making Formula 1 great again. That's what we do in this podcast, Effing On podcast, to make Formula 1 great again. That's what I try and do. One stupid idea at a time. And I've got a very special guest this week. You'll hear his voice. You may recognise him. But he is going to give us a new idea to make Formula 1 great again.
Geen in the park, geen in the park, het geen in the park with Robert Kubica. Robert Kubica. Hey,
Hey, it's me, fellas. Hello. Where is everyone? In honor of me, Robert Kubica, the official COVID tester and hand in the paddock for this podcast, I have an idea to make Formula 1 great again. And I would like every driver to have their hand handicapped in a way like mine, so they can't grip the steering wheel with their hands. They actually have to use their palm. So no use of fingers. They can't hold the steering wheel. And that is my idea. Then we have a handicap Grand Prix. Of course, Latifi and Stroll will already be handicapped, so they won't need to tie their hands. I couldn't think of a better place to hold the Grand Prix than the home of the handicapped in the ring. That is my idea. Okay? My idea. Thank you for listening. Thank you and hi to my wonderful cunt. I once learned from Luke and Adam that wonderful cunt means smart, beautiful woman. She's intelligent, well kept and well groomed. So hi to my wonderful cunt. I go. Goodbye. How is that? Robert Kubica back in the Effing On podcast. He sounded like he had a bit of a flu there. Hope you get better soon. Robert is our official COVID tester for the FIA. He uses his gammy hand in a cone shape to... He doesn't use the typical PCR route of going down the back of the nose or the throat. He goes straight into the anus to find out if there's any COVID in their poo particles. Very important. It's a taste test that he does. And we thank Robert Kubica for his time and his constant patronage of this Formula 1 podcast. Now, I'm giving the race rating a 7 out of 10. There was boring parts, as there is in Formula 1, towards the back end, as everything kind of stretched out. No one was close. A lot of people were trying to, save their engines from dying. First was Max Verstappen. Second was Sergio Perez. Third, Boy George Russell. Go through each driver's race. Max, 25 points, qualified second, raced first, spun by the wind. Caught behind Russell's and for a while, and they've already had team orders at Red Bull. So Sergio Perez, he got 19 points because he got fastest lap and second place, qualified fifth, finished second. Good lap by Perez, some simple overtakes for him. He had some fresh tyres. Team told him to stay in position. Sergio wanted to get past both Max and George. Unfortunately, they didn't let him past, and he just kind of had to hold station. Again, I don't think team orders should be this very early, but Sergio is seeing a very clear evident that Max first, you second. So most teams can go, I'll let him past if he can get the job done. Good. Onwards and upwards. But the team poo-pooed that idea, so Red Bull Racing being a bunch of twats already against racing. Leclerc. Q1. Beautiful pole position. Dominated the race, was pulling out very, very easily, but he had a DNF, power unit issues. On the radio, he said he felt that the turbo exploded. Would have been iconic. He should have been iconic. And he should have gotten an ice cream. Now, it was very hot in Barcelona, 35, 36 degrees, and track temperature near 50. He should have done... He did the Schumacher thing and went around, hugged, and thanked all of his shit mechanics for making such a terrible car. Well, unreliable. The car's quick, it's just unreliable. Hopefully they can patch that up for his home Grand Prix next. Sainz, 12 points over the weekend, qualified third, finished fourth. Another driver caught out by a gust of wind. If you were watching the national anthems being sung and Sainz was holding onto that umbrella for grim life, that thing was shaking all over the place. I'm like, oh, it's a bit windy. And as soon as I saw Sainz spun, because he spun first before Max, I'm like, that's the wind. There's no oil down there. There's no oil flags. There's nothing on the ground. He spun because of the wind. Because when they're going down the main straight, it was a headwind. So when they're going down the opposite direction, down into turn 4, it's a tailwind. And when you start to turn that car in, it catches that tailwind to the side of your car. It's going to spin you out. It spun him out. It spun Max out. I think the word got out to everyone, hey, take it easy. Shit's about to get serious down there. So gusts of winds took those guys off the racetrack, and they had to make their way back up from that. But he did well to recover with fourth, with 8 laps-ish to go. He overtook Lewis Hamilton, who is having to cool his engine quite a bit. But fourth. Good job at home. Hamilton, 10 points, qualified 6th, finished 5th. Our qualified base teammate again had an incident with Magnussen, got a puncture way back. He was way back after his pit stop. He complained on the radio that he should save his engine. He radioed them and said that, listen, let's just save the engine on this one, guys. He wanted an early mark. Like an office worker at 2 o'clock, he's like, can I just go? There's not enough for me to do. For someone like Lewis Hamilton, who is one of the largest virtue signalers in Formula 1. Now, the douche canoe was at full douche mode after this incident. It wasn't about, putting the head down and fucking bum up and trying to get the best race possible. No. What did he say? We should let's just save the engine on this one, fellas. Let's just call it a day. For a man that says you can do anything you want to never give up, what does he do? He gives up. It wasn't until his team like, no, we're going to stay out, Lewis. We could get you back up to 8th. Right? He finished 5th. Great job by Lewis. But imagine if he didn't. The man who says all of these things about you're great, you can do anything you want to, never give up, and he wants to give up. I smell a hypocrite. When the chips have fallen, the back's against the wall, outside of the car, I don't give up. Believe in yourself. Still I rise. Bloody fuckity blah. In the car though, can I go now? Can I just go home? Yeah, it's not working out for me. It's lap 1 and I'm fucking done. No. Get your ass out there and drive your fucking car that you paid to. Did Daniel Ricciardo say that? In Imola, when he crashed into signs and he was stuck back in 19th for the entire race? No. He said, sorry guys, and just fucking moved on. He's not like, oh, maybe we should save the engine. I've fucked up. Let's just... You never know what could happen in F1. And shit happened. And look where he ended up. 5th. He should thank his teammates. He should get on his knees and suck their dick. And when he gets on his next social media post and he says, don't give up, maybe you should give us a reality. Listen, if you can't be asked, if some shit's happened, just give up. Unless you have a very knowledgeable team that tells you that you shouldn't give up. And unless you have someone telling you not to give up, then you should give up. Stop being a fucking hypocrite. Stop telling everyone this is what you should do and then doing the complete opposite. I hate that. Hypocrisy. Just don't give us the positivity. Just go, yeah, sometimes it's shit and it's going to be shit. And you should just, have a sit. But don't fucking go on and go, you can do anything. You can believe in yourself. You can do anything. Still I rise. And then when something bad happens, you go, all right, that's it. Fuck all that. Still I rise. Still I want to fucking get out of this car. Oh. All right. Sorry. Back on to the podcast. Russell, 15 points. Qualified fourth. Finished third. Solid drive. Kid did good. Great blocking. He put the car where it needed to be. But what I can't stand about George is he always needs to tell the team that he gave it his all. They're telling him to change modes, cool the car down, which modes to go in, and he's still going on and go, that's the best I could do. I could do no better. That's the best I could do. That's all I've got, guys. I can't do better than that. And he says that after every race. That's the best I could do. That's all I've got in me. I didn't feel comfortable in the car, but that's all I got. That's the best. I didn't leave anything out there. That's he says every fucking time. Think of something different. Think of something original. And you don't have to keep promoting yourself. You're in the fucking team, son. They're not going to go, well, that wasn't his best. He didn't say it. We'll give him the arse. No. Who are they going to go back to? Bottas? Pfft. Fucking cheeky motherfucker. Norris, 4 points. Qualified 11th. Had tonsillitis. Finished 8th. Congratulations, Norris. Another great drive. Quality mistake pushed him out in Q2. It was millimetres that he got his lap dropped by. And I think it was harsh. But it didn't happen in his race. He had some fresh tyres for the Grand Prix. Tonsillitis, the guy's a trooper. He didn't... Tonsil what? Didn't care. He didn't give up, Lewis. He didn't go, oh, I've got a runny nose. Oh, my throat's sore. Oh, I can't taste shit. No. He got in his car and he drove his fucking race car because that's what you're supposed to do. Solid race. Well done. Always going forward, young Lando. Daniel fucking Ricciardo. The personality. I'm going to have to call him the backmarker soon. He qualified 9th, raced to 12th position. He had no tyres. He had 6 sets of tyres for the race, 4 used soft, 1 used hard, and a new set of mediums. No pace, went backwards, just shit. Is this deserving of a McLaren car? No. Does Daniel need to up his game? Yeah, bloody right he does. He could win a race. That's the thing is, he could win a race and it redeems everything. And he'll say, I never left. I just fucking snoozed for the rest of the season. He's got to be more consistent. He's 28 points behind his teammate. His teammate is consistent. He is up there and he's very, very consistent. Daniel, not so much. Need to up your game. If the car you need to adapt to, you can't keep thinking you're driving a Red Bull anymore because you're not. This is a new type of car. You need to find the best of it. And Monaco's coming up, which is, I would say, generally your best track. Not on last year's performance, but if you can't get somewhere in Monaco, if you can't get in the top 6 at Monaco, and the car may not be a top 6, but you are a top 6 when it comes to Monaco. Mark Webber in a Minardi qualified what? 16th or 18th out of 22? In a Minardi. We all know was the shittest car, but him and Monaco, match made in heaven. Aussies do Monaco well. That's what he has to do. Pull your finger out, Daniel. You'll get the best. Speaking of someone who's lacking, Pierre Gasly qualified 14th, raced 13th, 2/10 behind Swery in quali, and who has had the upper hand recently. And he didn't improve on his Q1 lap time in Q3. Pierre, what's going on, mate? If there's something you need to talk to someone. If you ever want to get back in Red Bull, you're not doing it with this kind of form lately. You're a talented driver. Sort your shit out. If it's in your head, get it out. And this is the weekend we show, so we got to find out. Everyone, fucking pierce up, get all your jewelry, get all your nose piercings. This is the weekend to turn up full of jewelry. I thought of that because Pierre Gasly has the cross around his neck. Next one, Swery Tsunoda got 1 point, qualified 13th, finished 10th. Solid race. AlphaTauri really behind the pace this year, which is quite different from them in the last couple of years. They've been up there or thereabouts, consistent in the points, always in Q3 or there or thereabouts. This year, not so much. Vettel qualified 16th, raced to 11th, just out of the points. He went forward, but not enough for the green Red Bull. Stroll, 18 in quali, ahead of the Williams. 15th race, had contact with Gasly, which lost him some spots early on. You'd say that was typical Stroll, but it wasn't his fault. Gasly just needed to give a little bit more space, but the Gasman took ownership of it too. Good on you, Gasman. Bottas, Q7. He qualified 7th. Don't know why I say Q7. There's no 7th qualifying session. He finished 7th in qualifying. Race is 16th. Good race. Probs could have done a 3-stopper. He has a new OnlyFans, for those of you. I know there's a few of them quite enjoy a bit of bare-ass Bottas. He's got an OnlyFans one now. He seems to be paying the bills, and he's made $50,000 for charity. 5,000 people actually paid for prints of his ass. That one he put on Instagram, they paid, I think it was $100. Go by my maths, $100 or $10. I don't know, $10. Who would pay money to? Well, I did. It's $7.77. That's because of his race number. And it's all just butts in different shades of lighting and stages of light blonde fuzz. It's cute. It's kind of like a peach with a little bit of fuzz, a little bit of hair. But I do predict Valtteri Bottas to have a very good weekend in Monaco. If they can change his wheel, get it off, and put a new one back on. The whole thing last year was not getting it off. So if he can get one wheel off, I think he could get a sneaky podium. I'm putting it out there. That means one of the Ferraris or one of the Red Bulls may not be up there. Zhou Guanyu, he qualified 15th, raced DNF to 19th. With China looking at using its military lately, I think the team is putting sanctions on him, which is causing his string of mechanical DNFs. Might be an inner team sanction, or they're just really wanting to win green awards. And they may be going over the budget caps, like, you know what, if we just pull a car out early, we won't have to pay as much money. Magnussen qualified 8th, finished 17th. Contact with Hamilton fucked his race. But expect decent things in Monaco. Both the Alfa Romeo and the Haas were decent on the last sector of Spain, which says tight, twisty, slow corners. So expect something decent from these guys. You'll have the Ferraris were quickest in that sector. Then you got Red Bull. I think then it was the Alfa Romeo ahead of the Merc, then the Haas. So expect some good things from Suck My Balls Magnussen, maybe Schumacher even, if he can keep it off the walls. And I would like to see Valtteri Bottas or Zhou Guanyu get a decent result, maybe on the podium. Schumacher, Junior Schumacher, 10th in quali, good job. Not far behind Mags in quali. He had 4 tenths only behind him in Q1, Q2, and 6.5 tenths in Q3. The race, he was 14th, but he wasted a good car, I feel. Alonso qualified 17th and dismal, but raced well up to 9th. 2 places behind his teammate. Ocon qualified 12th, finished 7th, outshined his teammates, and another year on his contract. I can't see Ocon making way for Oscar. There is talk that it could be Alonso making way, or Piastri going somewhere else. Now, the bad luck that Alonso has had lately, he's been quick in places. He was blisteringly quick in Melbourne. Unfortunately, the brake issue that happened to him towards the end of his Q3 lap didn't materialise in form of points and good quality. So he is suffering with points. I think he's doing a decent job. And let's talk about Williams. Yep, that's the wrap-up of Williams. Did a solid job. Back in fuck all town. Qualified 19th, finished 18th. Albon. Latifi qualified 20th, finished 16th. And that was very apt for the Williams team. Well done, Williams. The awards, the Green Award for lowering your carbon footprint, thinking about the environment, ending the race early. Now, you know, as hard as Alfa Romeo tried, Leclerc just got in with a lap early. So Leclerc wins the Green Award for saving the environment, lowering his carbon footprint, and congratulations, Ferrari and Leclerc. He was well ahead in the race, pulling away, doing a very good job, lasting a long time on those tyres as well. Lasted a few laps, I think it was 8 or so laps past what Pirelli predicted on those softs. So the tyre issues, maybe they're very good when it comes to a bit of heat on the track. The Likkonen Senate Award, I'm giving it to Russell on Max. Now, you may think the Russell was, it wasn't so much him overtaking as defending from Max, but that last humdinger where Max actually made the move and then you saw, boom, hey, Russell came around the outside into turn 2, or around the outside of turn 1, going left into turn 2, made that happen, made it stick, ran him wide onto turn 3, just pushed him wide. Then just at the end of turn 3, he gave him space to make sure he didn't get a penalty. Smart move, good move by George Russell, thinking of it all, and then having the inside line for turn 4. But I think that, you know, as much as you think, oh, yep, Max has got the job, boom, he comes around the outside, makes it stick, like by a fly's foreskin between Max's front wing and the rear of that Mercedes, George Russell. So a great move, back from being overtaken, gets it straight back. Well done, George Russell. Pastor Maldonado Award for dangerous driving. Now, Pastor Maldonado was there himself to hand it out, and he gave it to Gasman on Stroll. Just a silly move. Should have given him room and just spun him and took him out. Now, the F1 Podcast Award for making Formula 1 great again, it's George Russell. Boy, George Russell, for his defending and his press. Not so much him talking, but in terms of his driving, phenomenal. Really well done. Max was hampered by his DRS, but he made it very, very, very difficult. He moved at the right time, didn't move too much. There you go, oh, that's a bit sketchy. So good job by George. I'm looking forward to more battles of Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc and George Russell. And even if Norris can get up, these young kids, let's see them have a ding-dong battle. Now, the Yuji Ide Award for wasting everyone's time, and my God, we're giving it to Gasly. What's up with him? Fuck me, Gasly. You have struggled. Why? Talked about it before, but here's an award. That might make you feel better. And good luck for Monaco. The last award, the award that has its own intro, we're giving it to we're going with the That's right, it's the Your Shit award. And it's going to the poor, lonely Zhou Guanyu and his garage. Whatever they're doing to his car isn't the same as what they're doing to Valtteri. Valtteri did have a practice sidelining, so it's not all roses down there. They've made a very good package. Valtteri said this upgrade has done them very good. You may not be able to show that much in Spain, but expect to see how well it goes in Monaco. Again, my sneaky tip. The fastest lap was done by Sergio Perez, as I said before. He did 1 minute 24.108. Fastest pit stop was Ferrari. Fuck me, with the 2.23 seconds pit stop. Driver of the day was Lewis Hamilton. Now let's go towards the Turd Championship. Now, we all love the Turd Championship. Now, it is the reverse championship. So if you get 25 points for a race win in the World Championship towards the Drivers' World Championship, in the Turd Championship, if you finish 20th, you get negative 25 points towards your Turd Championship. And whoever has the most negative points towards the end of the race, end of the season, wins a big, giant turd on a slab of oak made by Producer Pete. Now, Producer Pete didn't have a very good week this week. Not personally, it was just his tips were shithouse. But we'll look at the Turd Championship. Latifi still out on front with negative 61 points ahead of Junior Schumacher, 56. Great Wall of China, 53. Zhou Guanyu ahead of the Fonz, negative 50. Gasman, Wolf, very shit this year, negative 46. Welcome to the Turd Championship, the chosen one, Charles Leclerc, on negative 25. And everyone is in between and above or below. There's a few guys that haven't been in there yet, but they have their time soon. Now, the tips. A new system. It worked out all right. I hope everyone found it easy. Cliff, you got 10. Luke, 12. Pat, 12. Jimmy, 11. T, 12. And Pete with a shitload of shit for 8. Single digits. My God. Now, it was tough. There's a lot of the norm that isn't quite going to plan. When you have Alonso having a shit weekend at home, when you have Gasman just not performing over Tsunoda, it's strange. I actually tipped Tsunoda. That's how I got a point here and there. There's some choices I made that just didn't work out. And, we all go, Charles Leclerc doing a solid job. And then, of course, he has a DNF, which is unfortunate for our tips. So the leader of the tipping championship is 81 points with Pat Foley. Poof, phenomenal. 78 to me, 77 to Jimmy, Cliff 74, T 74, Pete 70, and shit. So that is the tips. That's the tipping championship going on. If you want to get in on the tips, you will start whoever is last. So if you join the tipping competition, you can still win, but you'll be starting at Pete's position. Yes, that low. But it could be worse. Could start at 0. Start there, work your way up, get onto Twitter, the pinned tweet at the top. You pick your qualifying. And the good thing I like about it now is that with quali, you can find whatever's happening last minute. You go, oh, okay, they had a crash in free practice 3, which could happen in Monaco. And that's going to affect the way that they qualify, or they may not get out for qualifying. And the same with the race. If something happens before the race, you can make those tips just before the race. So you don't have to make those tips before anything happens. You go, oh, I'm never going to get that right. It's because when I found out Alonso was going to be shit, I'm like, boom, I'm going to put Ocon. That's where I got a point. Now, we have a very special guest joining us again. He's been away for a little bit, but we get a chance to talk to Toto Wolff. So, Toto, welcome. Good evening. How's it hanging? Is that the kind of slang you use in Australia? Yeah, mate, it's pretty good. It's hanging a little bit to the left. It's quite warm in the Hyundai i30 at the moment. Why are you driving Hyundai i30? Why don't you drive a Mercedes? Mercedes are expensive, and I don't have that kind of money. Listen, I could get you one if you would like. I would love a Mercedes. Yes, please. Thank you very much. Just send it my way. Okay, I'll talk to you after the season's over. And if I still like you, I will send you one. If I don't, you can go fuck yourself. Fair enough. First question, Toto. In hindsight, Spain, maybe you needed some side pods after all. Hindsight? Hindsight? What is this? Look back in the past? Of course. Listen, we could all do the hindsight train. Oh, let's look in hindsight and see what happened. Oh, look at what we could do. That's fantastic. We could have changed tires back in Abu Dhabi and we would have won the championship. Shut up about hindsight. Who gives a fuck? Okay. Have you thought about putting side pods on? Luke, shut up. We've got the pods that we have and we like the tight opening. If you like a big opening, by all means, Luke, go right ahead. Monaco, Hasn't been a strong race for you guys. Will this new car be something the older car couldn't do? No. This car is a completely different car, but it is still shit in the slow corners. I could sit here all day and go, look, we are thinking positive, great things, vibes, whatever. But the car's a piece of shit when it comes to the slow stuff. So let's be realistic. We are all aiming for top 10 this weekend. We expect some other cars to be in front of us, but we've got George Russell, who's a fantastic driver. We have Lewis, who is there complaining about wanting to go home early. But I said, no, you can't go home early. This is not the time. Go on and race your car. Now, final question. If you could do anything to helmet Marco, what would you do? I think it would involve a few items like cheese, helmet, a car battery, some honey, nipple clamps, jumper cables, and some feathers. Thank you, Luke. That was a pleasant final question to end on. And thank you, Toto Wolff. And in the next race, the Nerang of the French Riviera. I think that's how we'll put it. We have the Nerang River that's filled with bull sharks and shopping trolleys. They have the Mediterranean Sea with topless women on luxury yachts. So similar. I know where I'd rather be. We all know the story of my royal connection, as you heard in the intro, the preview of the Monaco Grand Prix. Now, the circuit length is 3.337 kilometres. There is 78 laps of the Principality. The first Grand Prix was 1950 race distance, not 300 kilometres. It's 260.286. It's the only race that doesn't do the 300 Ks. If they did 300 kilometres, it would take too long. The lap record is Lewis Hamilton last year with a 1 minute 12.909. That's a blistering lap around the track there. It's so tight. If you ever get a chance, even if it's not for the race, walk around that track and you will take a whole new level of respect for these drivers. And you go, yeah, it's a processional race, but you have to race 78 laps through that gauntlet of wall after wall. And these cars are 2 meters wide now, and they're 45 kilos heavier than last year, so expect it to be a little bit slower. The weather. Now, I have read several reports. Some say rain Saturday, Sunday, others say sunny. So I'll do the typical weather report you'd find on the TV. There's a chance of rain and a chance of sun. Thursday, it's 18 to 24. Friday is 17 to 25. Saturday is a 16 to 24. And Sunday is 13 to 19. Potentially raining, potentially sunny. Who knows? It's much cooler than Barcelona. And the tyre choice, no surprise, is the C3, C4, C5. I know what everyone really wants to know when it comes to me chatting tyres. Now, the minimum starting pressures are 21 on the front and 17 on the rear. I just got some new tyres on the Hyundai i30, some Bridgestones. Not giving a shout out there, but fuck, they're good tyres. Oh, in the rain, they are fun. They stick. Negative 3.5 degree front camber and negative 2.50 degree rear camber. Remember, those minimum starting pressure, 21 and 17 front and rear, they could change after practice too if everyone goes, nah, that's not enough. Let's go lower. The weather we've talked about. Previous winner was Verstappen ahead of Sainz and Norris. Pole went to Charles Leclerc. He had a crash after he did his pole, which caused a red flag, so Max didn't get his final lap. So Charles was to start on pole. When he had that accident, I've gone, he's damaged his gearbox because he tapped that rear a little bit too hard. Ferrari stayed up till 2 a.m. diagnosing and going, you know what? We'll be fine. On the outlap to the grid, Leclerc has an issue, pulls into the garage. No more Monaco Grand Prix for him, starting from pole. What would have happened, and if you're smart with Ferrari, I know it's like win or nothing for them last year because they weren't in the championship, but hey, give the kid, let him start 5 places back, give him a new gearbox, and give him an opportunity to get out there and have a race on his home track. He's had a bit of bad luck. His first year he crashed in the back of someone exiting the tunnel when he had some brake issues. The next year he started at the back, tried to make his way forward, stupidly had a crash. Last year, again, he crashed in the end of quali. They didn't fix his car and he didn't start the race. Hopefully this year is the year he wins it. He needs to win one at home. He needs to get back on top of that podium to make sure his championship is still alive. They can't let this slip into Verstappen's hands. I do believe there will be a strong showing, as I said before, by Mags and Beras Bottas. Will Daniel Ricciardo go back to Monaco form? Can Leclerc win his first home event? Will Alonso be in F1 next year? Will there be overtaking, or is its extra weight, stiffer suspension going to keep the status quo of a Monaco parade? Or will there be rain and carnage? Now, the times. What time is this race happening, you ask? Well, it's the exact same time as last week. So whatever it was last week, Auckland, New Zealand, 1 a.m. Monday morning. Nerang, Sydney, Australia, 11 p.m. Adelaide, 10:30 p.m. Perth, 9 p.m. Kathmandu, Nepal, if you're up top of Everest or Lhotse, those mountains that are very nearby, over 8,000 metre mountains. 6:45 in the p.m. Helsinki, Finland, 4 p.m. Copenhagen, Denmark, 3 p.m. London, England, 2 p.m. Montevideo, Uruguay, 10 a.m. New York, USA, 9 a.m. Los Angeles, United States, 6 a.m. and Hawaii, 3 a.m. For the Hawaiians, they get a tough one. So do the Kiwis. Poor them. But that wraps up the end of the podcast. Thank you to the special guests that came on, Sebastian Vettel, Toto Wolff, and Robert Kubica, for giving us ways to make Formula 1 great again. You, sir, made Formula 1 great again, and so did you for listening. Enjoy the Monaco Grand Prix, which doesn't have a Thursday session this year. It's normally a Thursday, Saturday, Sunday event, but it is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday traditional one. Sit back, relax, enjoy the parade. Hopefully there might be a sprinkling of rain towards race time. Eat a pizza, relax, and I'll talk to you after that. Goodbye.